This lesson discusses the substr command. Topics include: how do you get the first character of a string? How do you get the middle part of a string? And how do you get the last character or characters of a string? Moving to our first code example, the first question that might arise is, what exactly is substr? Substr stands for substring, and it's used to extract one or more characters from inside a string. In our first example, we're going to take two variables, $firstname and $lastname, and we're going to extract the initials of the name by using the substr command to obtain the first letter of each string. On line 14, we are going to use the printf command in conjunction with the substr command to obtain the initials from the two variables. First of all, the syntax of the substr command. Substr, the string that you want to dissect. The starting position. Remember, with PHP, strings start with 0. And finally, the length of the string that's going to be extracted. On line 14, then, you can see we use a printf command with two string placeholders. We then represent the first initial as first name, position 0, length of 1. The second placeholder will be replaced by a substring from last name, position 0, length 1. Moving over now to the browser, let's have a look at the code. So pulling up the first example, you can see the full name, Doug Beer, the initials, DB. Let's now examine pulling out the middle part of a string. Moving to our second code example, the name that we're going to examine is Mr. George Clooney. In order to pull out the first name, for example, we would use the substr command, specify the variable, in this case $name, the start position 4, the number of characters 6. On the second example, we're going to take the remaining part of a string. The way that's done is by specifying the string, followed by the starting position only, and omitting the length. When you omit the length portion, it takes the starting position and returns all of the rest of the string from that point on. Let's move over to the browser and take a look at the code. The output then shows us the full name, Mr. George Clooney, the first name, George, and the name without the title, starting at position 4, remainder of the string, George Clooney. Moving back to the code, it's worth noting that in most cases you will not know exactly where to start to search for something. So the technique we're going to discuss in another lesson will be combining the stir-pause command, which finds a string within the string, with the substr command. Let's now look at extracting the last part of a string. The technique we're going to use is to specify a negative start position. The effect of this will be to extract the last certain number of characters from the string. In this example, we're going to use a magic constant, _file, which will return a file name, the file name of the file that's currently in use. The extension will then be the last 3 characters of the file name. We'll use the substr command with the file name as the first argument and a starting position of -3, which will give us the last 3 characters of the file name. Moving over to the browser, let's look at the third example. The file name is basics_substr_3.php, the extension PHP. It's worth noting that there's another PHP function which could have been used. It's called pathinfo, which can be used to dissect a file name and extract its component parts. This will be discussed in more detail when we get to the lesson on file operations. In review, how do you get the first character of a string? You use the substr command, specify the string as the first argument, second argument is the position, 0, third argument, 1, which gives you the first character of the string. How do you get the middle part of a string? Substr, specify a starting position other than 0, specify a length if desired. How do you get the last character of a string? Use a negative starting position. This concludes our discussion of the substr command.